Hello, and welcome to Farewell Kite Facts. Since episode 8 of Cross Lines is almost finished, I thought it would be nice to go back and reflect on the past 7 episodes. In this series of videos, I will share my thoughts on the episodes as I look back on them, as well as a few bits of trivia that I may or may not have left off the trivia in the second part of each video. I hope you enjoy these videos and hearing my thoughts, and keep your eyes peeled for episode 8. The first episode is Public Enemy. Now that I'm going back and watching episode 1, it makes me realise how far I've come by episode 8. You can tell how I clearly have no idea what I'm doing, with the squashed aspect ratio, the fact that it's virtually a slideshow for the first few minutes, the fact that I'm doing all the voices well for a few of them. It's the first episode, I think it's allowed to get away with this sort of thing. If I was ever to go back and remaster an episode, this would definitely be the first candidate. I'd refilm all the footage to make sure it's the right aspect ratio. I'd probably edit the script a lot more to give way for actual character dialogue, and things would be a lot more consistent throughout.
I don't remember needing repairs. Works diesel, you say? Are you new to the line then? This isn't my railway.
I don't know what Atlas's accent is meant to be here. I think I was going for Cockney, I can't quite remember. I do remember basing his original voice off Rex the Runt.
Hello, I'm Rex.
Hello, I'm Atlas.
For whatever reason.
I blame the media always using greyhounds as models.
The Zebedee model in this was an unmotorised model kit from Dapple, as many people have pointed out in the past. Said model calls an appearance in the first TIFF, as the engine the Fat Controller doesn't like the face of.
Also, I don't think I like this engine's face.
And is now in quite a few separate pieces. I sort of did a number on it. Wasn't really my best kit. I'd say the Sherlock Hill model was probably the best. But yeah, the Zebedee model, the original Zebedee model, is virtually in pieces now. While this story is very exposition heavy, first episode and all, I wish I'd found a proper way to tie in the control units into it. The arc of the first few stories of Cross Lines is basically how Waterdown balances old technology and new technology. For example, in the first episode you have someone who prefers the new technology in Mr. Traverse, as well as Boomer breaking down, showing that the engines are overworked. You have the importance of the new technology in the second episode, where Atlas gets trapped and he can't really call out of where he is. In the third episode you have it clear that there's pressure on the older engines like Dawn to keep going and prove themselves and keep the timetables. And then you have the last one, which is number 4, in which it all comes crumbling down thanks to DEFCON. I wish I had tied in some aspects of going haywire into this episode, so establishing the importance of the steam engines running to time, as well as what control does and is, so that those issues are faced sooner than later. It's also been pointed out to me that this episode is very video gamey, and yes, I can kind of see that. It's sort of
Press A to speak to Benjamin. Mission, take goods train to Waterdown. Press triangle to speak to Dawn.
I think the best shot in part 1 is this one. I like this shot. I also like this one. These guys are my boys. Much like Atlas's strange accent, that 14XX doesn't appear later either. I think whoever he once was became Bard. Those are nice animals. That set they're meant to be at is Waterdown main station. More proof I had no idea what I was doing, because it does not look like a big station, nor does it really sell the look of big station. It's kind of like the sheds. They're meant to be West Shed as well. They don't look like what they should look like. From episode 2 onwards, there's a more consistent look. And that was mainly resulted in taking a lot of pictures of the set and filming a lot. So once I built the set, it would be like, okay, I'll film episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that will be it. Growing out of the use of the storyteller or narrator was one of the best things that could have happened in Cross Lines. You may or may not have noticed that in Cross Lines 6, there are only 5 bits of narration. It's usually to pass the time, and in CL7 there is no narration at all. While that does mean the characters are then speaking exposition, that's another thing to balance out. But by episode 8, there is no... I feel like I've ironed out all of those kinks. But here specifically in episode 1, it does take away from a few character interactions I feel like I really should have pushed. So like, Mr. Traverse chasing the station master off, or Atlas objecting to Mr. Traverse.
Huh? I'd recognise that paintwork anywhere. You're from the LNER. Finally!
Dawn is theoretically the only engine from the LNER on the water down, which is why she's excited to see someone else from her upbringing. Though her backstory is that she used to work at one of the big terminuses in London. So her idea of what the LNER is probably different from Atlas, since he's very much an outlier of the LNER. And I'm pretty sure that Wurzel just guessed the livery and got lucky with it, because, you know, he was in such a bad state of disrepair.
We must be kindred spirits.
Hey! Castle had a different face originally, and if I can find the image, it's hideous. It's got bits on it and people say Zebedee's eyes are bleeding. Sherlock Hill as a character gets the shortest end of the stick in Crosslines, and I will openly admit that his character sort of fell by the wayside. I mean, in this story I established him as a character by taking him out of the schedule, so it's kind of like, here's a new character! You will never see him doing the job he's intended to do. But, like, yeah, I feel in the theoretical existence of
The future of Crossed Lines.
there would be more focus on what Sherlock Hill is and who he is. Also, Westshed is just a cardboard box. One day I will make a proper Roundhouse style set, and it will be awesome, and not a cardboard box. The model that later becomes Ramona sneaks in several appearances, in amongst the other characters. But I didn't actually think she was going to become a character in Crosslines. Like, I created the character, but I hadn't actually figured out a way to put her into the series at that point. So, like, when I'd finished the model, I was like, yes, I have a model of her. I can actually use this character that I have. And, yeah.
I say it comes from a tender place.
This hopper has a face. Imagine the watered-down workmen have an in-joke, where they just leave day out with Thomas faces on the rolling stock to scare passengers. And final farewell clay fact is that there was going to be a sequence at the end of Mr. Traverse's rant where he comes a cropper with a cow, and I believe I still have the still images, which are here. One of these days I will use my Mr. Traverse gets startled by a cow visual. Who knows? So that's all of the farewell clay facts of episode 1. I'm hoping to do them all of this week as a sort of scheduled thing. Let's hope that goes as planned. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled for more videos, specifically the farewell clay videos. And I will see you next time. This is Hayden of Half88, signing out. God, that was a bit vloggy, wasn't it? That was very vloggy.
LNER.
Boomers.
Oh, today